Hello, if you've been here before, thank you so much for coming back and listening to more of us rambling on and on. But if you're new here, welcome to the Knowing Us podcast, which is a space where we try to capture some good old authentic girl talk. Our podcast will be in two main parts. The first part being the UNPACK part, where we rant and have conversations about a particular topic that has sparked our interest. The second part will be the put away part, where we synthesize our main takeaways and learnings so that it's a bit more consumable for you, our fantastic viewer. In this one, we tried to look a bit done up and a little bit fancy. Feel free to slap on some lipstick and slip on a dress, because this one is the one about being
pretty confused. Why are we in sync?
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, because of the recent lockdown in Sydney, we can't meet up. So this is the next best thing. So
Yeah, we hope you enjoy. Dress.
I don't know. Oh, cute! Now Jelly gets to have a cameo.
I should invite. Okay. Hi everybody. This is Jelly. She is a dog. Just in case you can't tell.
Okay.
Wow, I feel like a princess. This is fun.
All right. Are we starting? Is this the start of it?
Yes.
All right. Let us start.
Okay. Let us start. Sounds like we're about to pray.
Okay.
Okay, let's
very
start.
ceremonial. Okay, so you can start.
Well, okay, wait, what do I start with?
So what the podcast is about.
Okay.
Yeah.
So today's podcast, just in case you're not sure what the title means, is about the word pretty, and we're also going to discuss beauty as well and our perception of beauty. So, hope you have a fun ride.
Okay, all right. So
Okay.
our first question that we are gonna discuss is, what's your experience with the word pretty?
Okay. Do you want to start or do you want me to start?
You could start.
Okay. So, my experience with the word pretty, I think that when I was younger,
Yeah.
I used to like being called pretty
Mm-hmm.
because I think, the culture of Disney, they're all so pretty and beautiful and gorgeous, and as a young girl, I enjoyed being pretty and girly and very feminine, just like princesses, I guess. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Yeah.
And then there was a point, I guess, during puberty where I started hating being called pretty.
Okay, that's
And
interesting.
it's really interesting. I think it was because I actually looked up the definition of the word pretty before this video as well.
Yeah.
And it says the definition of the word pretty is attractive in a delicate way without being truly beautiful.
Oh my gosh, that's that's really harsh.
Yeah, a little bit. I think as I got older, I started to hate being called pretty because I felt that I think I preferred being called smart, which I think is also can be a problem in itself. But I felt that when people were calling me pretty, they were just reducing me to just my looks. Like that's
I
all
agree.
that
That's
they
something
were.
that I resonate with
Yeah?
as well. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, what about you? Yeah, what's your experience with the word pretty?
Yeah, I think sort of similar. I actually pretty negative. Like I had a pretty negative
Really?
view of pretty. The word pretty.
Oh.
Yeah. Like I felt like it was just very much, it didn't allow me to do things.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know.
Oh,
If
how
you
so?
want to, I don't know. For me, like, it wasn't useful. Like pretty isn't a useful term. So, the whole like aesthetic over practicality sort of thing. So it was more like I had to be pretty because I was a girl, and so I had to wear a dress. So I couldn't like climb the trees, or if the ball, like with my cousins, right? If the ball went over the fence, I couldn't climb over the fence because I was the girl, or I was wearing something that like didn't allow me to climb over the fence. And I always wanted to be the one that climbed over the fence and have that like adventure, but I never got to because they were trying to make me look pretty. which
Yeah.
like inhibited me from doing what I wanted. So I just feel like trying to be pretty equaled not being able to do like things, I guess.
That's really interesting. So for you, the word pretty held you back.
Yeah.
And that's why you've had a negative experience.
Yeah. And
that's really interesting.
Yeah. And like similar to you, like I feel like, it wasn't very of much importance to me. Even growing up, like it just wasn't, I never thought of myself as being pretty, or I never aimed to be pretty. Like I just like I was really actually against it. I was like, oh, I don't want to. Why would you invest in like being pretty? Because it's not useful. It's not like and I think honestly like that mindset made me very judgmental, like of
really
I think but
how so?
Like I think that like I'm not a big fan of like the Miss Universe thing. Like I always would I just get really triggered of how why would you have a title for look like of Miss Universe for like model, like walking down a in high heels, and like it's just like, what are you doing? Like what are you what do you do? Like you just look good. And I just and that judgment, it's not very healthy, and I'm working through it. Because just because you wear lipstick, or just because, like, you put an effort in your appearance, doesn't negate how smart or talented you are. And also then there's the whole, like, idea of, like, beauty and fashion and all of this, like, is a skill, and it's, like, a way of self-expression. So that's the whole, like, other way of looking at it.
Interesting. I'm so glad you brought up Miss Universe, because I love talking about Miss Universe. So I personally, I really, really like Australia's Miss Australia. So I think her name is Maria Tatil. And the way she's explained Miss Universe is that, so what I've seen recently is that the pageant of Miss Universe has evolved into not just being about looks, even though it is about being about looks. It's all about how accomplished in terms of humanitarian efforts they are, in terms of their confidence, authenticity. You can see if they have like a good heart by the way they present themselves. And it's really interesting because they have these questions. And also same with I don't know if you've heard, what is it, Victoria's Secret Angels? Is that what
Victoria's
they call it?
Secret model, like the...
Yeah. They're changing that as well to instead of hiring, like, sexually appealing women, they're trying to get more smart people with, like, PhDs, doctors, engineers. It's really interesting. I feel that there's some sort of evolution that is happening now. That they're looking beyond the looks now. But it's really interesting how they started, though, right? It all started with
the looks,
glorifying looks and aesthetics.
And the thing is, like, is there anything wrong with that? Like, the female body is a beautiful thing. Like, is there anything wrong with that? Like, I think, I don't know, I just feel like it's so limiting, though. If you're just, if a girl is always told, like, you're meant to be pretty and that's the only thing you're good for, I just think that's unhealthy. But there's, I don't know, I don't think there's anything wrong with, like, showing the beauty of women. Like, that's pretty, but I guess it's just more about making it a bit more three-dimensional.
I agree with that.
But
Jelly just wants me to keep patting her.
Even with those pageant things, like, do you have to be, like, is there criteria still that you have to be pretty, or that notion, like, to be in those competitions? Like, can you be, like, a stereotypical, not, ugly if you want? Like, can you still, if you're a PhD, person or whatever, like, you have that label. I don't know if I'm making any sense at the moment.
I get you. I think what you're trying to get to is, how I'm interpreting what you're saying is it still judged on looks? And I think it is, though. So I don't think they're, perfect in that. And it's interesting that there's competitions that judge people's looks, talents, and stuff like that. But I can't really judge that people that do that, because they are also, in the end, they're influencers as well, and especially with social media, there's a lot of influencers nowadays, so it's basically what they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I
And
guess... Yeah, sorry, go on. Yeah.
Go. No,
I don't know, I can't remember anymore. Yeah.
Sorry. So I was just going to say, right before we move on to the next question, was I think my experience with the word pretty, because even the way we've used it in the title, like pretty confused, it's meant to, it kind of also translates into like a little bit nice, like a little of something, like not a lot of something. It's also a little. And I feel that I understand what you mean, that it can be sort of restrictive, because that's what the definition is. It's delicate. It's a little bit. You're not everything. It's just a little. I don't know if that's making sense. But
No.
cool.
Yeah. So it's like, I think maybe from what both of us have said, like pretty, the word pretty is more restrictive than empowering for us. Like our experience with the word pretty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, you summed it up pretty well.
No.
Nice. Okay.
All right. You want to ask the next? What is the next question?
So I can't remember.
I have it here.
I think it's.
I have it here.
I think it's. Okay, you want to?
Oh, you go. You have it.
Yes. No. I just wrote perspective of beauty. So I think the question is, how has your perspective of beauty changed over time?
Yep, that's the question. Yeah.
Okay,
you got a good memory. Off the top of your head, I couldn't have done that.
Okay, you start this time.
Oh my gosh. This is a big question. So, okay, so I have I wrote, when I was reflecting on this, I wrote 3 main stories. So that was where, I'm sorry, I might take a while. I'll try to be as concise as possible.
No, don't.
I might go on tangents.
This is what we're here for. Just talk.
I know, but anyway, I don't like me just la-di-da-di, and I hear the sound of my voice. But anyway,
I like it.
Try to get into it. Thank you. But, okay. Cringe. Okay, done with that. So, before, what I was saying before, my perspective on beauty was, I didn't really think about it. It wasn't really in my head. I never tried to be pretty, and I never tried, but I think the first time that I sort of realized the importance of how you look, and how it sort of dawned on me that, what I look like represents how I feel about myself, was actually through an experience I had with my sister. So there's a big age gap between my sister and I. We're, well, not so big, 6 years apart, but she was really little, and I was looking after her in the holidays, and I found her in her room scrubbing her skin, and she was scrubbing her skin. I was like,
hold on, do you have her permission to talk about this?
Oh my gosh. Wait, I'll just quickly ask her.
Okay, in the meantime, while Aisha is going to ask her sister if it's okay, because we're all about privacy and we respect people's privacy. So the question is, how has your perception of beauty changed? And I guess for me, how has it evolved? Yeah, I think I kind of went into it about how during puberty I didn't. Actually, you know what? Oh, she's back.
Yeah. Jelly is just chilling here. I don't know if you guys can see her. She's legit just chilling.
Sorry.
I think she's comfortable here in my dress.
Yep. Okay. Sorry. Did you keep them occupied while I was away?
I entertained them.
Lovely. We love that. Multi-talented Jamie can juggle things on the go.
Okay. Yep. Go.
So, I asked her if she's okay with it. So she was 3.
Shout out.
Yeah. I'm not gonna. Yeah. Anyway. So she was 3, and I found her in her room. Yeah, scrubbing her skin with some soap. And I was like, what are you...
to be clean?
What were you doing? I asked her, what are you doing? And then she said, ate, that's older sister in our language. My skin is dirty. My skin's dirty, ate. I need to clean it because it's brown.
Oh.
And I was like, what do you mean? Your skin is beautiful. It's very pretty. I like your skin. We have the same skin.
Yeah.
And she's like,
you're dirty.
yeah. And she's like, well, Barbie doesn't have dark skin. Barbie has light skin. And then I said, oh, but you look just like Barbie when you wear your pink dresses. And like, she's like, no, because Barbie has lighter skin than I do, but I have darker skin. And that was when it like dawned on me, like, wow, okay, like representation is really important. And even though like, I guess it is somewhat trivial, like what we see, I guess it's not trivial at all, I guess. Like what we see really impacts like how we, like, it's like potential of what we view ourselves as. Like if we see somebody that represents, that we can connect to, like it's easier for us to dream or look up to something, or see
feel more comfortable in yourself.
So like that was the first sort of turning point of like, okay, maybe looks do matter, because and after that I tried to make sure that she felt really comfortable in her own skin, and like I'd take so many photos of her, and now she's like way more confident than even me. Like she is such a she knows her style, and she knows how to dress herself, like, and she's very much more assertive in how she wants to view herself, and with her style and everything. So it's really good. And she doesn't even remember that. She doesn't even remember that moment where she so that was one of the
it's crazy because she's so young, 3.
I know, right?
My goodness,
crazy. Did you want to share a story before I go into my other
I didn't really have any stories prepared, but I guess just a comment on that is I'm glad that Disney are like expanding in terms of diversity. Like we have what's her name, Raya. Hey Jelly, stop that. No, not in front of the camera. That's not good. We have Raya and the Last Dragon, who's based on like Southeast Asian culture, which is
it's really cool.
Us, right?
Yeah
pretty much, but South whatever. Anyways, so I'm glad that Disney, and there's more representation. There's a big move towards more Asian and people of color in Hollywood. So that's nice to see, actually. Same with Miss Universe, and sorry, back to Miss Universe, because I think a lot of people know Miss Universe, as in the pageant competition. They're also getting rid of those like height restrictions.
That annoyed me so much. I was like, it's Miss Universe, right? And all the women like are the same body type, the same height, the same, like they're all still conforming to that westernized standard. Like if it's Miss Universe, why is like there's still different skin tones, which is good, but there's no diversity. Like not all women look like that, and like even the ones like I'm gonna get really like I might get oh well, bash
do it, go
like,
for it.
Like even all the Filipino Miss Universes, they're all half. Like what is so bad about representing a stereotypical what your culture or what your nationality looks like? There's nothing wrong with being short and petite. Like that's what normal Filipino women look like. Why are we still putting in these women that, like, nothing against those women, like they're beautiful women, but it's just like, I don't know, it's just very, I just feel like the audience wants a certain thing, or maybe the what do you call it, the organization is just pumping this certain image, and I don't like it. Anyway.
That's so interesting that you mention as well that in pageants, international competitions like that, they're all basing it off the westernized view of beauty. I think that's so true. It's really interesting how, like, in Asia, right, a lot of people want to be lighter skinned, whereas in the Western culture they don't. And it's just so interesting how there's so many different standards of beauty, like all throughout the world, and yet they're being judged off, one.
It is very interesting. And how do you actually? I'm gonna say this as well. This is gonna be As a Filipina, like, because we can speak from that experience, right? I feel you look more like the ideal of what Filipinos girls want to look like. Like even growing up, I reckon
makes me a bit uncomfortable.
But okay. like as in like you have fairer skin, and haven't you've gotten like
people think like you're mestiza sometimes.
Yeah, so mestiza is a term that basically means white.
Half-beat, yeah, like
No,
looking
what does
like,
it mean? Like, that looks
white.
white.
Half, like
So bad.
yeah, like
We're bad at this. Wait.
yeah,
Looks Western.
like
I don't
yeah,
know.
has a mix.
So wait,
Is
what's the
mixed.
question?
Is mixed maybe?
Yeah, it looks mixed, I guess.
Yeah.
What's
how
the
do
question?
you feel about like?
How do I
yeah.
feel about that?
Yeah.
Has it affected me? I guess when I was younger, it did affect me in the way that, hold on. Has it affected me? I guess I did. It did. It kind of. My brain right now is
That's
trying to
okay.
remember. I have terrible memory. I don't know if you guys have picked up on that. I
Yeah.
have horrible memory, but I can tell that at some point in my life, it used to be something that I used to be proud of, I guess. Like, oh wow, I don't look Filipino. That's cool. That makes me different, I guess. But then at the same time, it kind of made me feel disconnected to my culture. Like I was too whitewashed to be Filipino. But then that's completely different. Oh my gosh, we have to do a video on culture, I guess, because
cultural
I remember
identity,
I used to not like being Filipino. Growing up, I wanted to be a whitewashed Asian because I felt that being Asian wasn't something to be really proud of.
Wow, yeah.
But that
that's
kind of
really
changed.
true. Yeah.
But that's another video, I
yeah,
reckon.
yeah. But actually, that
Yeah.
probably leads on to my next, like, sort of evolution or, like, perspective that has changed my perspective on beauty over time.
Yeah.
I think I was in year 10 or something.
Mm.
And we were doing a lot of, like, theology of the body stuff at school. And,
Right.
And then, yeah.
Theology of the body, sorry, just means...
Yeah.
What does it mean? It means...
It's
It's like
you try.
what the church, what the Catholic Church teaches us about the body.
Yeah.
And okay.
Yeah. So we were doing some,
Pretty much.
Yeah, we were doing some stuff like that at school, and it just got me thinking again about my body because I don't usually. Back then, yeah, even now I'm a bit more like I try to think more about how I look, but. Growing up, if you see all the pictures of me growing up, I'm always wearing the same thing.
Really?
Yeah, like for 3 or 4 years, I just wore the same thing, just every single photo. And I hated photos. I still don't really like photos. But anyway, off topic. Yeah, so then it came up at school again, so I just thought about it some more. And I was like, am I proud of what I look like? Like what, how I look, like what, how can I sort of have confidence in how I look? Because at that point, it wasn't like I loved myself. I didn't love what I looked like, but I didn't hate it either. It was just more just like, I just do life. Like, it doesn't really affect me. But, sometimes, and then, looking at that time, I think when people are discovering things and going into puberty and, like, there's all this... new things going on. Yeah, I did start to think about like, wait, so how do I look? Like, am I like ugly? Am I pretty? Like, you're trying to put yourself in like a thing. Yeah, but when I came to it, like the conclusion that I came to of like whether I should be proud or happy with how I look, like how do I feel about how I look was like I thought about it like and genetically like how I look, like I'm literally the genes of my parents, right? Like I look like a combination of my parents. Wow, what a mind-blowing thing. Like I look like a combination of my parents and I look like my family, like I look like my grandparents and my family, and the whole idea of like representing my family is I'm a visual representation of my family. Like, when I walk through the world, like, I think that's a beautiful thing because I'm very proud to be part of my family and represent the values of my family. Like, and I want to uphold our family name and, like, serve in that way. So when people see my face and, oh, you're an Oringa, like, that's something that I want to sort of uphold and not let, you know, bring some sort of, like, I don't know, what is it? Like, I feel like Mulan.
Dishonor.
Like, honor.
Dishonor to on your cow.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think that's another way that I sort of rationalized how I look and how I sort of rationalized feeling more comfortable with how I look. I just associated it with, my identity through my family. Yeah.
I like that. That is a really nice way to think about it as well. That you're representing your family and your looks are a blend of your family, and that's who you are, and that's a truly beautiful thing.
Yeah,
I like
thank
that.
you.
Yeah. I never really thought about it that way. That's really interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. So what about you? Like, how have you thought about, I think we've covered a bit of it already.
Yeah. I was just saying while you were gone.
Yeah.
I feel like I kind of half mentioned it in the last question, but I guess for me, how has my evolution of beauty changed? Like I said before, it used to be how feminine, how girly, how, for me, that was what being pretty encapsulated. But I think in terms of, I'm like separating the word pretty from the word beautiful. For me, I feel that beautiful is more everything, whereas pretty is just I think is related to your looks. And so I will keep it in that limitation, that space.
Yeah.
For me, the definition of being pretty, or how I kind of see it, is someone who can be authentically themselves and someone who presents themselves well. So that takes into account hygiene, you know, being clean, being neat and tidy, being confident, being, what else? Being authentic and being good, I think. But then, to be fair, I just said that I'm talking about good looks. I mean, like, look how you look. Yeah. And then I just said being good. But you know what I mean? You can tell when you look at someone, I mean, not to judge books by covers, but you can tell, sometimes you can tell how good a person is or how kind someone looks by the way they look.
Yeah, definitely.
So, for me, that is what being pretty is to me now, is that it's someone who is authentically and comfortable in themselves, someone who presents themselves well, can be confident, which is not the reality sometimes. We're not always confident. And someone who comes across as kind and approachable, I think.
Yeah, that's really cool. Like, I feel like so you're saying that, like, now you see beauty and being pretty as a more of a holistic thing rather than just
girliness and femininity and that.
Yeah, which is really interesting because I think that, like, culture just pumps out that view of, like, be pretty and, like, and it's always, I feel like it's hyper, it's too much. Like, you don't see the rest of the girl, like, when it's just that femininity, like what you're saying, like upplaying femininity.
Yeah, and also it's different as well because, sorry, this is a tangent now, but when you think about being attracted to someone, it is a good thing. Like we learned in school, being attracted to someone means that you see good in them, and that's why you're attracted to them. And
that's a really nice way of looking at it. Like the definition of that. It's someone who is pretty is someone that you see good in. Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah, sorry, go on.
No, that was it. I don't have nothing to say. Nothing to add.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I think similar to me in that I experienced that whole, like, pretty isn't, or beautiful isn't just prettiness, like, I guess. From the idea of, like, pretty is more aesthetic, more like what you look like, and beauty is like something inside, blah blah blah. But I think another, which brings you to, like, the last sort of thing that I experienced.
Want to hear it?
Yeah, so it was about formal, and I felt really uncomfortable with formal. Like, I don't know. I'm not sure if I've told you this already, but like, because I think my whole like growing up, I never had makeup, so formal was the first time that I got makeup, and like, we went shopping and we got like I tried to look good. Like it was the first time where I was conscious like I want to look good, and because like I just never had done that before, like tried, it was really uncomfortable and like very vulnerable for me because like I just because I don't do that, like I don't do that. So when I was trying, it was very I felt very inadequate, like I couldn't be pretty, and I couldn't because I just didn't see myself as that. And I think it also I'm going to talk about my mom here now as well, but oh well.
Do you want to go and ask her?
I'll ask her afterwards because she's in the meeting, but yeah. Okay. Anyway, so like I think during that time, all of my friends, or I saw a lot of my friends, you know, go on dates with their mum where they'd go shopping and for their formal dress, or they'd get their nails done together, or they'd go on spas, and it was like a thing that, you know, your mum teaches you how to be pretty and how to be beautiful. And I was seeing that with all my friends, and when my mum and I go shopping and do anything like that, we get so stressed. Like it's not a fun experience at all. We just it's so tiring. We're both tired, we're both drained, and like we just don't do that stuff. Like, or if we have to do that, it's not pleasant. Like it's not something that we enjoy. Like, and I was thinking like, wow, okay, so all of my friends have been taught how to be beautiful and how to be pretty from their moms, and my mom and I don't learn that from my mom. Like I don't connect in that way. Like we just don't connect in that way. And that was something that I had to navigate of like, why is this so different? And I actually had a lot of like assumptions and expectations around my mom as to why I don't know like simple things. Like even my mom doesn't have hair on her legs, so she never shaved her legs. So then she never taught me how to shave my legs because and so I just didn't. And then you remember the first time I waxed my legs in the library?
Oh yes, Aisha's first experience of waxing was at a library.
When we were studying for our HSC, which is like a final exam in high school. Yeah. Anyway, shenanigans happened. But yeah, so I think. But then, like, I realized, like, with my mom, I was feeling very, like, I don't know how to be beautiful because my mom didn't teach me that sort of thing. Like, that was, I didn't think that, but I think subconsciously, like, that's what I was, like, putting together in my head. But then, and then I did think about, like, the experiences that I did have with my mom. And my mom is she's the smartest person that I know. Like, and throughout high school, she used to tutor me and a bunch of other girls every week. And so most of my time with my mom during high school was her tutoring me. And it was rough. It was very hard. Like I'd be crying a lot because she pushed me. I feel like she pushed me very hard, and I'm sure I pushed her very hard because, like, I don't know, when your parents are teaching you, I feel like it's a different thing. But she taught me a lot in that. Well, she still teaches me a lot, like, not just academics. Like, her whole thing is, like, her whole bookshelf is, like, all these self-help books. So she's always, like, talking to me about something. And then when I thought about that, and I thought about, okay, so what does my mom's beauty represent? Like, how does my mom teach me beauty? It's obviously not like that. So how does she do it? And then I got to thinking about what my mom's beauty is and how she represents that. And and what I came to was that for my mom, the most beautiful thing you can do is to learn and understand the world and people. And that's what she to know more about how the world works and learning. She's a real she's a lifelong learner. She loves learning and that just like overflows her, and that's what came through in our tutoring sessions. And it's not easy, and then it's not walk in the park to like learn and to cultivate knowledge, but it's worthwhile because, you know, like when you see things in more detail or from a different perspective, like it's so beautiful to experience the world in that way. And I feel like that's what she was teaching me, and that was her way of communicating beauty. And and then when I thought about that, I felt very blessed and felt very like, wow, it's so, you know, when I viewed it that way, I didn't feel like I was missing out, and I felt like, you know, that's so special that I get to see beauty in this way, and it became much more of a thing that I'm grateful for now, because I feel like I got something that is very different and individual.
I love that. Thanks for sharing that. That's really nice. It's really, I'm so sorry. You're gonna have to excuse me. Jelly is scratching at my door. 2 seconds.
I can't wait to see what she's doing.
You have to entertain them now.
The video. Oh, I have to entertain them. Okay. I'm not as good as this. Like, I don't know what to say. I'm just gonna wait.
I'm back.
Oh, yeah, thank goodness.
Okay. I love that. I love that you shared that on my feed. About your mom. I think that's really special. That is really cool. I remember you telling me the stories as well that you, and I've seen Aisha as well, like you growing up, you never really seemed the type of person to like what you're saying in this entire video so far, you've never really felt the need to be pretty. You've never really like experimented with makeup. Like when we went to school together, you weren't really that kind of into that stuff. But I love that you've been able to see beauty in a different way as that, because I think seeing beauty in the way that everybody else sees it can sometimes be restrictive in a way, or can sometimes be I guess oppressive, because like we've discussed before, it's when we don't fit the standard of beauty that we think it is, it's really easy to fall into that.
Like self-hate and like
insecurity.
And then feel like you have to change in some way.
It's, and then I like how you brought up about how you learn beauty from your mom, I guess.
I feel like that. Every girl does. Is that do you think, or what do you think?
No. I think you learn beauty from you learn from the people around you and the female figures in your life, and it just made me reflect on what my mom has taught me, and I think the way of someone that is, for me, the way my mom has raised me is someone who is beautiful, is someone who is confident, who is intelligent and presents themselves well and holds themselves, carries themselves well and communicates effectively. So that's the way that my mom taught me. That's the way my mom shaped me in that way.
That's really beautiful as well.
Yeah. And I'm grateful for that as well, because it's helped me to be more confident in the way I speak and communicate with other people, and really interesting.
I mean, I think that is true. Like your first role model, like in your life, like as a girl, is your mom. Like that's the first, where you sort of model off. Parents, obviously. That's like not rocket science, but anyway.
It's good to remember, right? It's a good reminder. Not that we're limited to that representation of our parents, but it's just where we see it first. So just a tangent question that I want to ask you is, when do you think a woman is at their most beautiful or most attractive?
Wow. That's so interesting. I don't know. I think all ages of women, like there's something different and fun to offer, like in every stage of your life. Like I don't think beauty has a time limit. That is interesting. That's such an interesting question. What about you? What do you think?
So I think the way, I feel like a broken record, but the way that so what was the question again? When do I think a woman is at their most beautiful? I think it's when they're authentically comfortable in themselves.
Yeah, that is, I agree with that. That's a really good way
Yeah.
to put it. Yeah. When you feel,
Because
right.
yeah,
Yeah, and you can carry yourself knowing that, like, I'm good. Like, I feel, good in myself.
Yeah. And I know we've had a lot of conversations about, like, there is inherent beauty and inherent good in everyone. And so people, women that know that and are certain of that in themselves and can see that in themselves, I believe is when they are at their most beautiful. When they know that they have something to offer the world.
Yeah.
And are confident to offer it to the world.
Yeah, that is so interesting. Yeah. Like, I think that, and that, like, adding on to what you said, like, using different mediums to present that. So some people might feel really empowered and really beautiful when they put on a lot of makeup or when they express themselves in that way. And that's doesn't take away from, you know, women who feel really good when they read a ton of books and they, you know, exercise their mind or exercise their body. Like, all of these ways all help cultivate that confidence and self-worth. So all of that is like, it's just different ways of navigating it. And nothing is better or worse. We're all just like, whatever floats our boat, I guess, in terms of feeling confidence and beauty in that way. Yeah, that's really cool. And so I think the last question was, how do you feel about pretty, like, feeling pretty, wait, what was it?
How do you feel about calling yourself pretty?
Yeah. You can go first, because I'd really like to, I have a couple of questions for you as well, like, around this topic.
Okay, so the first thing I wrote when I looked at this question was, I don't.
Oh, really?
I don't.
That is insane to me. Like, that is insane.
Nice. I mean, I don't call myself pretty. It's not that I don't see beauty in myself, but I just don't call myself like, oh, I'm a pretty girl. You know what I mean? I don't say stuff like that.
Do you say other stuff like, oh, I look good today, or like, yeah. Okay. You just don't.
Definitely, like, I'm feeling myself today. Oh, I look cute today. Yeah. My outfit is nice today, you know?
Yeah.
I do say stuff like that, but I don't, I'm not like, I am a pretty girl, you know what I mean? I don't label myself as that, and I don't say, I don't look in the mirror and I'm like, you're pretty today. Because I feel, like I said before, pretty is a little, you know? It's not very,
it's
not,
restricting.
Yeah. Pretty is this much, whereas...
You're more than that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyways, and I guess it can be as well, because I'm not a words of affirmation kind of person, but being called pretty doesn't affect me, because the way I've seen prettiness is just, it's the surface. It's how I look, and for me what's more important is on the inside. But at the same time, when people call me pretty, I don't feel that comfortable. But I think that stems from discomfort accepting compliments.
Okay.
You know? Because the way I see it as a non-words of affirmation person is that words don't do anything to me. Well, not all the time. I guess I also receive love in words sometimes, but words don't have much of an effect as acts of service do, or quality time to me. And so when people say, like, oh, you look so pretty today, it doesn't resonate. It doesn't make me feel more valuable. Like, it doesn't help me see value in myself. Okay. It does, because that's value is really detached from looks for me.
Okay.
Yeah,
I think similar. So how do you how if someone wanted to communicate to you, like, that you are beautiful, but you're not gonna, because you don't, like, words of affirmation doesn't hit you as much, how would they go about that?
Sorry, say that again, please.
So
I zoned out.
Oh no!
See how untuned I am?
My own. Like, if what, like, saying you're really pretty doesn't affect you, how I mean, that sounded really harsh, but, like, if it doesn't, you know, resonate as much with you as, like, you were saying, how are other ways that people can communicate to you that you're beautiful in a way that you feel it more?
I think more so if someone can compliment the value that I bring into the world, or the way if someone can, or I like when people say you carry yourself well, or you are a good communicator, or
so it's more like your character rather than your look.
It's very much more character based. And for me, I know it's not that healthy, but intelligent sometimes. But
yeah, well, you are very intelligent, so like.
Yes, thank you. So in different, I think in a certain way, I am intelligent in this way, but not in every single way. So I think intelligence is. We should do one on intelligence.
Yeah,
wow,
maybe,
all of these ideas.
Yeah, we're on 48 minutes, so we should.
Yeah, I realized. Up. Okay.
Yeah.
So I want to ask the question to you.
I think.
How do you feel about calling yourself pretty?
Yeah, I'm similar. Like, I just don't really feel. I don't really feel pretty, like, on a day-to-day, because, like, I have very masculine sort of, what do you call it? Like, masculine hobbies and, like, interests. So, yeah, I just don't feel that. And I think, yeah, I want to, you know, tap into that and, like, figure out that insecurity a bit more and muddle over it. But yeah, I was just going to say, like, with you and, like, you don't, like, the way you answered that question, like, I don't. It's so interesting because at school, I felt like you were probably, like, the prettiest girl in our, like, along with some other girls. But, like, definitely, if I were to make a list, like, again, this is not good, like, this is not good comparison. But, like, you were definitely, like, and you got the most attention from the guys. And, like, yeah, like, popularity. She was the popular girl. So it's really interesting that, like, that's the first thing that you said. Because, yeah, like, did you view yourself like that, like, at school? Like, did you see that?
No, I never really actually, speaking for myself now, because I can't remember how I felt in back then. I don't value looks as much as I do what's inside. And so in high school, I never saw myself as a pretty girl. I saw myself more as a smart girl, and I think that was more of the label that I kind of hid under the smart girl, but then that was restrictive in itself, but we'll talk about that later. But I just I never really, because for me prettiness meant that's all that I could offer. Just good looks, just visual appeal. There is nothing underneath that.
Again. Like I think I was reading a book where it was talking about, like, the greatest compliment isn't praise but is gratitude. So, like, because at the end of the day, like, everyone wants to feel like they're of some use, and because purpose links to being used more, serving and being useful. So, like, if someone says, like, thank you for that really, like, touched me or really helped me, like, that is more meaningful than, like, oh, your work is really good. Like, which is really interesting, because with looking a certain way, like...
Oh no, my camera died.
Oh no, I think that's a sign.
Yeah. But we were just getting somewhere good! So now we'll head into the put away section, where we'll condense what we just talked about. But before that...
I'm so sorry that my words were not coming together. I had like 4 hours sleep the night before, which is bad self-care, which is not what we preach, but we're working on it. Yes. Anyway.
So I think we sort of brainstormed it into sort of a flowchart of how we navigated the word pretty. So hopefully by the end of this, we're stepping towards more clarity rather than still being pretty confused.
Yeah, and just another note is today, since we were so dressed up and fancy in the last video, we decided to dress down.
Like, I was halfway through trying with my hair, and then I thought, you know what, let's not, because
I can do whatever I want. Yes. Power to the people.
So we're dressed down, as you can see. Hopefully we can kind of push forth our idea that authenticity over perfection.
Yeah, that's our channel mantra.
So the first thing that we sort of defined was that the word pretty was very one-dimensional, and it's very hard to sort of fit yourself in that narrative growing up, because pretty is more westernized bias. If we just see pretty as this one thing, we talked about how it can manipulate how you think and feel about yourself and be really damaging. So it can be really oppressive and bring up insecurities and self-hate and make you want to change yourself, and that's not the best from our experience anyway.
And we also defined pretty as, so this is taken from the internet, attractive in a delicate way without being truly beautiful. So yeah, and from our experiences we found the word to be more oppressive and restrictive rather than empowering
and
I think
free.
It might be.
So by being aware of that representation and how it's very one-dimensional, I think is the first, we think is the first way that we can sort of step away from it and move into something a bit more healthier, in our opinion. But then sort of to negate that or to change our view, we thought it would be good to look into where we actually came from and start to love and accept that. So in my story, you know, making peace with how I look by being proud of my culture and heritage and family, and that my face visually embodies and represents that, and drawing sort of strength from that and being comfortable in myself in that way helps me be proud of how I looked. Having that self-acceptance of where you come from helps with what we talked about in the end, which is achieving, you know, authentically being comfortable in yourself. And when we talked about, I think it was you mentioned that a woman is most attractive when she recognizes her own worth and her own beauty. So it's very, it's sort of, what do you call it? Paradoxical, I guess, because like, yeah, from our definition, you're most beautiful when you see it in yourself. After we step through, you know, self-acceptance and sort of looking at ourselves and what we finding value in what we look like, then we can sort of create our own definition of what beauty or being pretty is for ourselves. So for me, it was through my mom and her role modeling that being beautiful is about seeing the beauty in the world and trying to understand that rather than just physical.
My definition of beauty is someone who can be authentically themselves and comfortable with themselves, and someone who can present themselves well. So that's my definition, and that's how I see it.
Yeah.
And you may not agree, but you know, we all see things differently, and I think that's the idea, is that find what beauty means to you, define it for yourself, and uphold that in yourself.
Yeah. And that's the beautiful thing about it, because there's so many different ways we can view it, and it just adds to this discussion.
It's interesting though, right? Because beauty is so one-dimensional, and if everybody looks like that, it would be so boring.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
And also that whole idea that, you know, if Barbie was a real person, she'd fall over. It relates to, I think there was this quote that I remember, like, there's no such thing as a perfect body, but there is such thing as a healthy one. So
I like that.
Then to sort of help change the culture of this one dimension of pretty, we think it's good to sort of speak out on others' beauty in the way that you define it, not in the one-dimensional view of pretty that we've been taught.
Being attracted to someone is seeing good in them.
Yeah, seeing their inherent good and their inherent value. So if we speak more about that inherent good and that inherent value rather than just like, oh, she's really pretty, which
visually,
which
is not a bad thing. But
but we can be so much more. I think if we can affirm and speak on the definition of what we see as beautiful, we can broaden that perspective of beauty, so that that one-dimensional view of pretty becomes a thing of the past. And that's sort of the way that we can help. At the very end, we talked about the best way to sort of uphold somebody else's value and praise them and compliment them.
Yeah, you said the greatest compliment isn't praise but gratitude.
I think praise is really important as well, because you gotta showing that you acknowledge somebody's goodness is really great. But with gratitude, because everyone wants to feel like they are purposeful and useful, usually gratitude resonates more in that way, like you made a difference to me because I'm saying thank you to you.
Like to some extent, because we want to be valuing and admiring the person as a whole rather than just the work that they do or the value that they have on you.
Alright, so to put it all together, we realized that pretty to us was very limiting and restricting and very damaging, and oppressive because it's only showing this one dimension of beauty.
It's important to be aware of this one-dimensional nature of beauty because that is the first step. Like being conscious of something is the first step to changing that. Yeah.
After we realized that, oh, actually being pretty is culture pumping this one idea, we can sort of backtrack that and look at how we view ourselves and look into where we came from and try to love and accept that and find stories that empower us in that way so that we feel more comfortable about owning our own type of beauty rather than this one version of it.
Yeah. And after we are able to love and accept that beauty and see that beauty in ourselves, we can start to form our definition of beauty, like our own definition of beauty, and we can create that based on the role models around us, our own experiences, what we value inherently, and what we see good in, what we are attracted to.
Yeah.
And then after that's clear to us,
After that's clear to us, we can then speak out on that type of beauty and affirm that definition when we see it in the world. So if we all, find our own definition of beauty and know that in ourselves, when we see it in the world and affirm that, we can help create a world that doesn't see beauty or prettiness as this one thing. And that's the power I think that we have in sort of changing beauty standards and
definitely. And also, even if you feel like you can't change the world, like you can't change the beauty definitions, standards in the world, you can't make a big difference, you can't flip all the pageants around, you can still make a difference in your world and value the women and people around you.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, and I think the best thing we can do for the world, like coming back to what we believe is to be ourselves and to really figure that bit out.
Because inherently we all have some special value that we can all bring to the world, and it's best to embrace that. So hopefully you're able to take something away from that. Again, we are extreme amateurs. We don't know everything. We're just speaking from our own experiences, and if you have anything to add to the discussion, then reach out. Comment.
Yes, please. If you have your own definition of beauty or what you think is beautiful in a person, if you could comment that would be great. I feel like I'm talking to no one, but if you want to do it, we'd really love to hear it because we want to know more things as well.
But so that's us on
being pretty confused.
With love
and much gratitude,
Jamie
and Aisha.
Bye.
See ya.
Sorry, she always wants to be on camera. Hi, Joey. She's so relaxed. She looks like such a calm dog. Look at her face. It's just like, I'm chilling. She's old. It's important to be aware of this one-dimensional nature of beauty that exists around us, because that kind of helps into... What am I saying? So when you can be conscious of it helps you change that and not have to feel like you can not. I can't say anything. Okay, so basically, it's important to be aware of. I tried to save you there. It's okay. We need outtakes anyway. So that's us on being pretty confused. Maybe let's just do pretty confused. Like you say being and I'll say pretty confused. Okay. Pretty confused. Okay. Yeah, that's us on being... I thought you were saying it on your own. I guess I'm taking being and you're taking pretty confused. No, that is not what I got.